Alright, so here's help on the unit circle assignment. So for the first part of this assignment, we have a unit circle that was given to us. And we need to fill out the missing information, which we had with 1, 2, 3, and fourth one here. Alright, and it's not liking my highlighter. So our first one we can find right here. So what it's asking us to do is to go to our unit circle and identify where this is. So we need to go to the unit circle, and it's by the 45 degrees, 90 degrees, and it's pi over 3, otherwise known as. So here's my unit circle, and I see that here's 45 degrees, here's that 90, and here's pi over 3. So this is otherwise known as 60 degrees. So the answer for number 1 is going to be 60 degrees. Okay. All right, so then number 2, we are at the negative root 2 over 2, root 2 over 2 as well, and then 3 pi over 4. So I suggest going to 3 pi over 4 and finding what it is in degrees. So pi over 6, pi over 4, pi over 3, pi over 2, 2 pi over 3, 3 pi over 4. And in degrees, it is 135. So I'm going to go here, say 135, and that is my answer. All right. So then number 3 we have is down here, and it's not being very nice to me with my computer. So this time we were given the degrees, and we need to find the radians. So I'm going to go to my unit circle again. We have 180 degrees, so 30, 60, 90, 120, 135, 150, 180, otherwise known as pi in radians. So pi is my answer. And that's it, just pi is my answer. All right, so then the last one, number 4, is down here. So again, we're given the degrees, which is 315, and so that means we need to find the radians. So let's go to my unit circle. So 30, 45, 60, 90, 120, 135, 150, 180, 210, 225, 240, 270, 300, 315. Isn't that what we're looking for? So in radians, we have 7 pi over 4. And that's my answer. It's just 7 pi over 4. So for those first 4 problems, that's what you're doing, is just filling out the unit circle. Not too much math, just filling out the unit circle is how you would read it. So these are all my answers. Okay. So moving on to the bottom part. So we're going to be using the unit circle to find the exact value, no decimals, of each trigonomic function. So meaning exact value is going to be not like 0.71 or 0.5 or anything like that. We want to do the exact value. So we have cosine of 30. So there's 2 important parts that we need to recognize. We have 30 degrees, and then we also have cosine. So when we have 30 degrees, that means that's where we're going. So this is the where of the problem. And then for cosine, that means the what of the problem. And specifically cosine, when we're trying to find cosine of degrees or radians, that means that we are going to use the x value of our coordinate. Okay, so let's go up to our unit circle that we filled out. So let's go to 30 degrees first. So 30 degrees found right here. So that's our where. All right, now we need to do the what, and that was cosine of 30. So what I mean by x value is that we're going to be using this coordinate given with 30 degrees. So now, because we have cosine, we're going to get the x value is what I said. Yes, x value. So our x value, remember, coordinates are set up with x comma y. So this one right here is my x value. This is my x value. And so my answer is going to be square root of 3 over 2. Now it's not too bad if you notice, it's just a lot of interpreting, making sure you know what the definitions are. So on the side right here, I'm going to write something. I'm going to say cosine is the x value and sine is the y value. Okay, so that's kind of how you remember it. Or you can say cosine sine if you want to remember it as a coordinate. So let's look at our next one. We have number 2 is sine of negative 225. So remember, this is my where and this is my what. So my where, that means we're negative. So that means we're gonna go clockwise. Sorry, that's not how you write clockwise. We're gonna go clockwise. And our what is sine, so that means it is our y value. So let's do this. So if we have a negative number as our where, that means we are going to go, there's one of two ways to do this, but I like this way. We're going to go to the positive version first. So our positive version, so 0, 30, 45, 60, 90, all the way to 225. That's our positive version. But remember, we had it negative. So imagine I can fold this unit circle in half, and we're going to go to the coordinating one that it would be touching if we folded this unit circle in half. And I'm going to use a different highlighter. So if I folded this in half, our 225 would be on 135. So that is our negative version of 225. And I can even prove it to you. But before I do that, let's figure out the rest of this problem. So remember, we had sine, so that means we're going to do our y value. So our y value is root 2 over 2. So that would be my answer. So remember, I said I was going to prove to you that negative 225 is the same as positive 135. Reason being, so what I would do is 360 minus 225. And when I do this, I get 135. And that's how I know that it would work. So that would be the other way that you can do this, but you don't have to. You can just fold your unit circle in half and find it. Right. So the rest of this is pretty straightforward, but I will do a couple of harder ones. Let's do sine of 450. So we have our where is 450 and sine is our what. So it tells me that this is my y value. This is what we're going to try and find. 450, this is over 360 if you notice. So we need to subtract 360 so that we can get it between 0 and 360, and it's a lot easier to find. So if we do this math correctly, we will get 110. So it's now like we're trying to find the sine of 110, and it'll give you the same answer. So let's go up here. And I just realized I did that math wrong. It is 90 degrees, not 110. So we're going to go and find 90 on my unit circle. So 0, 30, 45, 60, 90. That is my angle. So now we're going to go to my coordinate. And we have 0, 1 as my coordinate. And we're trying to find the y value. And my y value is 1. So my answer is 1. Okay. And if you had a negative one that's over 360, do what we did for reference angles. Add 360 until it's between 0 and 360. You know, not too bad. All right. So for this next part, it's very similar to degrees, nothing too crazy. So let's do number 7. So cosine of 5 pi over 4. So 5 pi over 4 again is our where, and cosine is our what. So remember, cosine is going to be my x value. So 5 pi over 4, we're literally going to find that on the unit circle. So pi over 6, pi over 4, pi over 3, pi over 2, 2 pi over 3, 5 pi over 6. Isn't that what we're looking for? Yes. Oh, no, we're looking for 5 pi over 4. Pi, 3 pi, 7 pi over 6, 5 pi over 4. This is what we were looking for. That is my where. So now my what is going to be dealing with this coordinates. And the coordinates are, we're trying to find that cosine, which is my x value. So my answer is negative square root of 2 over 2. Okay. So let's do number 8, sine of negative pi over 6. Again, negative pi over 6 is my where, sine is my what. So sine in this case is going to be my y value. So we're going to go to pi over 6. So because it's negative, we're going to do that same process that we did before. So I'm going to go to pi over 6, the positive version. So pi over 6 is right here, that positive version. But if I folded my unit circle in half, I would see that pi over 6 is on the same placement, or sorry, negative pi over 6 is the same placement as 11 pi over 6. It's like, again, if we went backwards at 0. So we went down instead of up because it's negative. All right, and then my last part is going to be the sine slash cosine, and we had sine. So sine means we're going to go to the y value. So my y value is negative 1/2. So that is my answer. So negative 1/2 is my answer. All right, so then the last one that's kind of tough is number 12. So number 12, we have sine of 8 pi over 3. Now, if I did my where and what again, you would find that 8 pi over 3 does not exist on this unit circle, but it actually kind of does. So if you notice, we have pi over 3, oop, that is not a friendly highlighter. We have pi over 3, 2 pi over 3, 4 pi over 3, and 5 pi over 3. Now, if I were to change this up, you would notice that I could make a unit circle that is just with my thirds. So we had pi over 3, 2 pi over 3. So then what would this one be if it's already labeled as pi? Well, it would be 3 pi over 3, but that's the same as pi. And then our next one was 4 pi over 3, and then 5 pi over 3. And then we had 2 pi here, but if we had 6 pi over 3, that's the same as 2 pi. So what I'm trying to say is 8 over pi, let's count to that. So 1 pi over 3, 2 pi over 3, 3 pi over 3, 4 pi over 3, 5 pi over 3, 6 pi over 3. What if we kept going? So now we have 7 pi over 3, 8 pi over 3. Huh. And that works. So you can keep counting forward until you get to your number. All right. So 8 pi over 3 is the same as 2 pi over 3. So let's go up